Before the creation of Forza, Microsoft and by extension the Xbox didn't really have their own brand of racing games. Most of their exclusive titles were shooters like Halo, role-playing games with Fable, and most of their other titles being given thanks to their working relationships with Sega. And it's this working relationship that would grant them access to one of their future biggest racing titles, one that would shape the future of racing games both for Microsoft and the community in general. A series that originally was never really meant to be an Xbox exclusive franchise. I'm of course talking about Project Gotham Racing. Project Gotham Racing, a series of racing games with an origin as bizarre as its name. Developed by Bizarre Creations, the developers of 1996 and 1997 Formula 1 games, and later developer of Metropolis Street Racer, or how fans would dub it as Project Gotham Racing Zero, a racing title developed for the Sega Dreamcast. Only fate would have it that after the failure of said console, Sega would push a number of their exclusives onto Microsoft's original Xbox, thanks to the aforementioned friendly, cooperative relationship. Now with Xbox, Bizarre Creation would develop Project Gotham Racing exclusively with each title improving the core feature known as the Kudos system, a system where players would be awarded for performing stylish moves as they race at high speeds. Throughout its lifespan, Project Gotham Racing would be positively received, with many praising its arcadey nature along with the implementation of the Kudos system creating a fun and exciting experience. After 2 releases, the series would make the jump to the Xbox 360 with Project Gotham Racing 3, making use of the more powerful hardware with stunning scenery and the improved online functionality with Xbox Live, allowing players to race up to 7 other players alongside an online leaderboard in the career mode. The game, despite being received positively, it had a bit of criticism, mainly coming from the developers themselves, as they had admitted that development for Project Gotham Racing 3 was rushed to meet the Xbox 360 launch date, and they would get another chance with Project Gotham Racing 4 2 years later, a title that would make further use of the power of the 360, with many improvements and additions. Unfortunately, this would be the last Project Gotham Racing ever, as Bizarre Creations would be acquired by Activision in 2007, shortly before the game's release. So then I had a bit of wondering, how far does this final entry improve on the series and has it aged well? I'm recording this on original hardware, so we'll get to see this game as it was back then. Well then, let's find out. We should first talk about the style, because this game is oozing with style. From the menu, the cutscenes to the UI, every bit of style here perfectly reflects the stylish gameplay, including the career mode garage. Oh wait, what? Yo! You can walk around your garage, man? Change vehicle? Do I have Caterham as well? What the hell, man? This is insane, man. Insane level of detail. There's not much redecorating to be done in the garage, but what we can do is change the cars, and you'd be surprised with the type of cars that are unlocked by default. So these are all of the things that I own right now, I guess. Wait, Apollo? Do I actually own an Apollo? Do I actually have this right now? Nuts. Which changes based on progression and is fully explorable, similar to something like Test Drive Unlimited 2's interiors. Though you don't really get to do much with the garages, you can however play Geometry Wars, another game developed by Bizarre Creations. Okay, let's play this thing. Hold up! Cool, man. It's like Ridge Racer 7 has a minigame inside of the game itself. It's always a nice treat to see developers put these kinds of Easter eggs in their games. And these stylish visual details will be accompanying us throughout the career mode. It's rare to find a game with this kind of style and personality. And so we start off with the career mode with our first set of choices, the difficulty option. Now you can go for normal, easy, and hardcore. As I never played the games, I'm pretty sure normal would be good enough. And immediately we are introduced to the calendar feature. Speaking of, I hope you like donuts because you're gonna see it all the time. The calendar will inform us regarding championships that we can participate in. You'll be able to see how many championships are available in the calendar and then make a choice on which championship to join for the day. The end goal of the career is to reach the top of the rankings. Reaching the top even in a video game is not as easy as it seems. Well, in this game at least, but I'll get to that in a bit. Progression is also separated by tiers. You start off as an amateur and you will rank up into professional, hotshot, and then finally the master rank. As mentioned previously, you also get a whole new garages based on these tiers along with more races and cars unlocked. Now something most people will notice is that the early championships take place in only one country for each championship. Luckily there's a ton of places to visit, with returning stages from PGR3 such as New York, Tokyo, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, London, with a couple of new ones from Shanghai, Macau, Quebec, St. Petersburg. All of these city road tracks look absolutely gorgeous even though this was made back in 2007. And the Michelin test track. There are also a ton of events to keep things fresh, from regular races to elimination, checkpoints, one-on-one races, and some interesting events with the Superstar events and Super Cone challenges. Yes, they made Gran Turismo's license test into a main event. Also speed challenges. The game uses super grippy arcadey handling. Thanks to the super grippy handling, it's very easy to blast through the roads with blistering fast speed. Speaking of which, the sense of speed in this game is quite phenomenal. Thanks to the use of the city tracks, that means there's a lot of decoration or landmarks that can be used to help convince you as the player that you are going super fast even on the lower tier vehicles. And there's no damage model, so you can take the hit, but there is a risk attached concerning Kudos. But what is Kudos anyways? The main feature of every PGR game is the Kudos system. In PGR4, Kudos is pretty much everything. You buy cars and stages alongside some of the random goodies like the super expensive gamer icon using Kudos. For the gamer with more Kudos than sense, a single exclusive gamer picture. 1 million for a fucking gamer picture, man. I must say for that. Eventually. Furthermore, championship standings are also based on Kudos. Earning them can be pretty easy since they're acquired from doing power slides, overtakes, setting the fastest lap, or even just by maintaining a high speed. Tiebreakers are also determined by Kudos. I previously mentioned that there is a risk to driving recklessly concerning Kudos. That's because getting into collisions results in the wasted state. It's a short duration effect where you can't deposit any Kudos and you'll lose any Kudos accumulated. Unlike PGR3, the game doesn't strictly have supercar focus. No longer are we restricted to the fast supercars of Lamborghinis and A34s. Instead, we are greeted with a selection of smaller and slower cars at first, giving that proper feel of progression as we go to much faster and wilder cars later, with the addition of motorcycles as well. So we get to drive in a bunch of lower spec cars, which is a welcome improvement from PGR3. PGR4 contains 130 vehicles. Aside from slower cars, there are also some new brands added in from some recognizable brands like Gumpet, Ruff, and even Tesla, but of course the new bikes ranging with manufacturers from Ducati, Harley-Davidson, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Yamaha. Each car got different basic stats and a rating to determine the level of difficulty. Each car also has some incredible details, from the speedometer that follows each car model near accurately and even interior details. They really did take these aspects to a whole nother level, including the garage feature I mentioned before. Vehicles can be customized as well, but not much, mainly with the paint job and custom decals. The motorbikes in this game are pretty cool too. They are separated by only two classes compared to cars, being the M1 and M2 classes. They handle a lot more tricky than cars, and you can also fall off, but they are marginally faster, so it's an option for more risk and reward for those interested. You can also do a lot more stuff on motorbikes with gestures and poses, haunting grants, extra Kudos, but also can make you lose control. They are far more susceptible to weather conditions as well, which is a good segue to talk about the new dynamic weather system. Thanks to the familiarity to the Xbox 360, Bizarre Creations has developed a dynamic weather system onto PGR. This weather system allows the scenery and even the physics to change in a flash during the race, and even if you decide to download the Weather Channel add-on, then the game would even simulate the weather according to your own location. However, in career mode, weather conditions and changes are scripted, but anyways, this system allows the weather to change from a clear sunny day to suddenly a cloudy or stormy day. And when that happens, happens, be prepared to see the darkest racing stage ever. Actually, that is a pretty accurate description of the UK. But then I had finally laid eyes upon the most dangerous piece of monstrosity any sentient being has ever created. A snow-covered Nürburgring. It is the snowy Nordschleife. Oh, yoy. I think this is probably the only game that has a snowy version of this. Oh god, the brakes! Seems like the 2 laps around here. Are you fucking kidding me, bud? Look at this Nordschleife, man. Oh god. Make one mistake, you're dead. Opa, sorry. My apologies. May God have mercy on your soul. Rather the AI. Pretty damn sure. You son of a bitch. Getting Forza in a game from devs that moved on to make Forza, man. This is where they got their inspiration for Forza strategies. So let's talk a bit about the AI. In general, they can be too easy, staying behind over 10 seconds or more. But then there are the occasions when they will rubber band so hard, you'd think you're racing against Max Verstappen in his Red Bull rocket. And to make it worse, these AI are oblivious to your position, meaning they will just ram and pit maneuver you into the shadow realm. And then there's the endgame progression. Up on the master rank and near the top 10 ranking, progression slows down a lot because your opponents in the top 10 will also earn a lot of championship points, and chasing them down becomes a tired game of cat and mouse, made even worse by the later championships having a sizable amount of races you need to win. Having played the game from start to near finish, despite its issues, the game overall aged extremely well for a game developed in 2 years and released in 2007. The gameplay certainly holds up a lot with a lot of arcadey fun, and not to mention the Kudos system is also really good. The arcadey controls and the graphics age like fine wine. It has a lot of attention, especially when it comes to the cars. It was so influential, in fact, that it would live on in Forza Horizon. Speaking of which, I haven't mentioned what happened to the devs after the acquisition. They would only release one racing title after, Blur, the Mario Kart with licensed cars. However, the game would sell horribly, and Activision would see it fitting to close down Bizarre Creations after just one title in 2011. But it's not exactly the end of the story yet. After the studio was shut down, members of Bizarre Creations ended up scattering to different places. Some would give up on game development completely, and some would return to the embrace of Microsoft, perhaps pinning for another day they could do another Project Gotham Racing title. These members would join Playground Games and develop the Forza Horizon titles. So perhaps one day, once the Forza Horizon gravy train slows down, Microsoft will give Project Gotham Racing another try. They got the people to do it, it's just a matter of when. But aside from the PGR devs, what about the relationship that started all of this? Sega and Microsoft would continue to have a bit of a supportive relationship after the original Xbox, but it's only until recently where said relationship would blossom again. In the last few years, Sega and Microsoft have been working together once more to bring titles that were previously console exclusives or regional exclusives for the Xbox and PC, with titles from the entire Yakuza saga, including the Judgment games and the Western release of their formerly regional exclusive MMO, Phantasy Star Online 2. Oh yeah, and then there's also the Persona games as well. I keep forgetting that Atlas is owned by Sega. Thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and also big shoutouts to all the patrons that support the channel. I hope you take care of yourself and have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.